Today we're looking at the LionSteel TM1, and not only is this been on my grail list for a really long time, but it is just a beast of a knife with the absolute best action of any backlock I've ever handled. Hey, how you doing? If this is your first time here, my name is Jay. Welcome to the channel, and go ahead and click on that subscribe button if you're looking for knife reviews that get right to the point. I've thrown up some specs here on the screen now, and these are measurements that I've personally taken myself, and I'll also have them listed down in the description below just in case if there's any of you that want to follow along throughout this review. Let's go ahead and get those comparisons out of the way, and we're going to start out with the Spyderco PM2. Sticking with Spyderco, I've got the recently discontinued Manix 2 backlock. Let's go ahead and squeeze in a cold steel, and this being the code 4. Let's do a Benchmade and of course the bug out. And lastly, another LionSteel, the SR2. Two other versions of the LionSteel TM1, one being the satin blade finish and another with a carbon fiber handle. This being a knife on my grail list, there's of course quite a few things that had attracted me towards it. The first being the monoblock construction, the blade, ridiculously thick blade, and the width of it, the incredible action, and you know the confidence and security of a very strong backlock. I'll bring you in close so you can see this gorgeous reverse tanto blade shape with the black coated Sleipner steel blade that is flat ground, and it has a very large yet well executed sharpening choil. Using that thumb disc, which by the way it is, you can see it's removable, which is always nice just in case if any of you use like those clamp style type of sharpeners. This thing, I mean, it just flies open with really little to no wrist action at all. And now there's a few reasons for this. It features the IKBS ball bearing pivot system on the inside and a dual back spring mechanism, which I'll bring a flashlight in here in just a minute and I'll show you the inside. And closing the knife, so the lock, that lock back, it's really easy to depress. I mean, it just requires very little pressure is needed from your thumb, and that sharpening choil, it's big enough so when you have your hand, your index finger up here, and you push on that back lock, it's big enough so you're not gonna cut your finger when you're closing it, so that's good. Now if we take a look up at the top at the pivot, I really like that LionSteel decided not to paint the tang and the lock face, so they're not coated, because you know after use that paint would just get all scratched up and flake off, potentially getting in those ball bearings. Now hopefully you guys can see this, but if you take a look at the centering, yeah, at least on my example, you can see, yep, it's off just a little bit in that direction, which kind of stinks, but at least it's not rubbing. This handle is a 4.6 inch. Now that's a solid chunk of micarta with some really nice, check out that nice wood grain pattern. It's very comfortable to hold, but I gotta be honest with you, it's a broom handle. It really is, with a handle thickness of 0.68. And I want to bring in the bug out just so you can see. I'm going to put it next to it. Look at that difference. I mean, you can see that with my medium-sized hands, oh yeah, there is plenty of room on this handle, which it does, even though it might look kind of smooth, the traction is really good with a very nice, you see that palm swell kind of in the middle, and there's just going to be the one area of jimping, and it's only on that thumb disc on both sides. You can see the pocket clip, it is in fact, well, it's deep carry, and it is going to be just tip up only, and it is for righties, and yes, it is switchable for the lefties, but is I wonder, is this clip, is it like some kind of a practical joke or something? Because it is just ridiculously small. And I'm going to bring out the bug out once again. And yeah, look at that. Both clips are just about the same size. Now, the tungsten carbide glass breaker there on the end, it unscrews so you can switch the clip over to the other side. But what's nice about this is it does not require like a special tool that used to be included with some Lion Steel knives, because it's got like a hexagon shape, so it's got the 6 flat sides. So you can see I've got out the cutting board and some cardboard, because I really want to see how well that this 4.6 millimeter thick blade, how it cuts, because I think that this is probably the thickest blade stock of any folder that I currently own. It is. I know that for a fact now. Well, let's see. Oh, that's nice. That's a lot better. That really is a lot better than I expected. Oh yeah, that's pretty darn good. Before I go ahead and toss this up on the scale, I just want to show you, well, of course it is going to be all pretty much closed construction because of that, the backlock design, but I want to go ahead and show you the inside here. And you can go ahead and, can you see that, you can see the back spring where it is like split down the middle, creating the 2 separate springs. But also notice there's no liners. Yeah, this is just a solid chunk of micarta. So let's see how they did with the weight. Huh, that's pretty darn good. For a 4.6 millimeter thick blade, 5.1 ounces. That's a little bit lighter than I expected. Look at that. Just the equivalent of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It looks like 6 AA batteries. Or, oh, look at that. Almost the same exact weight as the much larger Cold Steel Recon 1. And as long as I have this Recon 1 out, I just want to remind you that I have previously reviewed this knife. So if at the end of the video you go ahead and look up to that corner, yep, right there, you see that icon, you can click on it and it will take you to my full review of this knife. Before we get to my potential deal breakers, I do have a question for you. And since we're talking about harder use type of knives, what I would like to know is just what folder do you reach for when you need a heavy-duty, hard user type of knife? Let me know. Leave your answers down in the comment section below. Potential deal breaker number 1 is regarding the closed width. Get this, 1.73 inches. So from at the widest point from the spine of the blade to the spine of the handle, 1.73. That's substantial. And not to mention the 0.68 handle thickness. On top of that, there's quite a bit of blade that's sticking out when it is in the closed position. And the only reason I bring that up as a potential deal breaker is because the more exposed blade that there is in your pocket, you know, the more chances that there are for this to get scratched up. Potential deal breaker number 2 is regarding the pocket clip. And well, the fact that it is absolutely tiny considering the overall heft of this knife, but hopefully you can see this. It really is not much room at all for any like pocket material. I had to, you can see where there's a little bit of gap there. Yeah, I had to pry it up just a little bit so I could just get this darn thing in my pocket. Last potential deal breaker is regarding the edge. Yeah, that is a nicely rounded, good old-fashioned convex grind. So you're gonna need to know how to sharpen that. And oh boy, for that, all I can say, go visit Jeff Jewell's channel. I'll leave a link to him down below, and he'll be able to show you how. So now where does that leave us with the Lion Steel TM1? Well, this is by no means is it a new design. I mean, it's been around for quite a few years now. I want to say maybe 4 or 5. And the recent price drop that I found from $270, yeah, that is the normal price, down to $205 at Blade HQ. And as of this recording, I know they do still have some in stock, but that price drop down to $205 is really what motivated me to finally pick up one of these. And man, have I been just waiting and waiting. I honestly, I don't regret my purchase at all, but I don't know how practical that this knife is gonna be, because come on, I mean, it's big. It's not gonna disappear in your pocket. So if you're looking for a true tank of a knife and a blade that you could pry with. Now I know you're not supposed to, but let's just say it was an emergency situation and you absolutely needed to, you definitely could use this as a pry bar. So for that, I would say, yeah, I mean, get this, because it should be able to handle whatever you throw at it. So I just wanted to thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, you got any value from it, go ahead and just leave me a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe. Now I will see you at the next video. Hey, you take care.